The Republican Party has traditionally fought to keep the government out of the private lives of Americans. Moreover, when Republicans have seen a need for government, their involvement, they have traditionally insisted on local and state governments having the authority. Republicans have also traditionally been on the side of limiting the power of the federal courts. In the Shivo case, the Republican Party abandoned all of these principles, and instead they got the federal government involved in the personal life of one individual family and took the authority away from the state and gave it to the federal government and the federal courts. My point is, it's not a partisan point. My point is that when any political party becomes too dependent on a specific religious group, it harms and compromises the party, and it harms the churches as well. In the use of wedge issues, we see an unbiblically narrow set of issues, such as abortion, gay marriage, and stem cell science, come to define Christian political involvement in American public life. Mind you, these issues do not come from Jesus or the Bible. They come from somewhere else. And in doing so, these churches forego and forget the full range of biblical concerns, which include poverty, oppression, and war. When a political party hitches its star to a religion or vice versa, they both get harmed in the process. Democracy requires a variety of social institutions that perform various functions. Democracy needs religious institutions to function in ways that provide moral critique and bring people together for common cause. And there are a lot of causes we hold in common as a people and as a nation. Recently, a small group of evangelical leaders are starting to see that is a truth. David P. Gushy is a professor of Christian ethics at Mercer University, and he's the president of Evangelical for Human Rights. And just last month, he wrote in an article in USA Today, and I quote, "If it is true, as we boldly believe, that the church is the central location for the work of God that God is doing to redeem the world, then our focus should be on the church's work and not the state's. As one aspect of our God-inspired love for our neighbor, we can ask the state and its leaders to do justice, to protect life, and to advance the common good. We can do this in many quite constructive ways, from scholarly work to declarations of principle to activism on specific issues. But we dare not identify the work of any state, any political party, or any politician with the work of God and the task of the church. Every time we do so, we end up embarrassing ourselves, enraging the neighbors we are called to love, deepening the culture wars, and damaging our own mission." End quote. Gushy and other evangelicals know that the good news of Jesus' ministry was about love and reconciliation. To be fair, it's not just religious conservatives and Republicans who use controversial issues in order to divide the electorate. There are many other issues that are used in this way, and voters across the political spectrum often seize on one particular issue. The politics of divide and conquer are at least as old as government itself. But these tactics should be denounced, not deployed by religious people. We can see that some people today are saying that they won't vote for Senator McCain because of his age, which is ageism. We can see that some will refuse to vote for Senator Obama because of his race, which is racism. Refusing to vote for Senator Clinton solely due to her gender is sexism. And refusing to vote for Governors Romney and Huckabee because of their religion is sectarianism. And all of these views will be used and are being used and have been used to try to divide up the American people. American politics, as usual, will continue to stir up divisive issues. But it seems that the time may be approaching when American people will no longer allow ourselves to be divided by such myopic concerns. As religious people, we need to be a prominent voice for a higher vision of our nation, a vision that's rooted in reconciliation and hope for all, a vision that brings people together to face real problems that confront our nation and our world. The Bible and the stories of Jesus are filled with examples of bringing disparate people together for common cause. They are filled with examples of generosity and examples of taking pity on forgotten members of society. I want to conclude with a paraphrasing of Matthew 25, offered by Dr. Forrest Church, who was our speaker last Sunday. He writes, Jesus tells his disciples that when we die, there is a quiz. The questions, by the way, are not who is the second person in the Trinity, should women be allowed to be priests, or during your lifetime, were you sufficiently militant in your abhorrence of high taxes, homosexuality, stem cell research, and abortion? According to Jesus, who assured his disciples, if you have done these things to the very least of these, our brothers and sisters, you have done them to me. The questions are these. Did you feed the hungry, clothe the naked, heal the sick, and visit those in prison? Get them correct, Jesus says, and you will know heaven. And heaven knows God is not a Democrat or a Republican. In fact, God blesses us all. Amen.